Okay, Fatima, this is your clinical iceberg, and let's just see how you did. First of all, thank you for writing on lined paper. But just a quick point: you should have this should be also margin on this side of the paper, right? Not just on this side of the paper. But anyways, you have a title. That's good. An iceberg is a large piece of ice that is floating in open water with slightly smaller part. Okay, only visible. You have a word order issue here. The only visible part is a small part of the iceberg is what you want to say. Okay, and okay, so you're missing. Okay, and a clinical iceberg can be thought of as a metaphor, as only the obvious symptoms can be seen. Usually, it's defined by 6 types. Okay, so obvious symptoms. I think you missed also the dying people, right? So it's good that you've tried to explain what the iceberg is, and that's good. And you have an introductory paragraph, but you're missing a little bit of information because remember, your task should really be, explained in your first paragraph, and you've done a good job explaining the iceberg, but not the actual, why you're writing to the students and why you're explaining this. Okay, first, the very bottom of the pyramid. Okay, so now you're talking about pyramids and no more icebergs, I guess, which are healthy and normal people who have no disease. Then comes the people who appear to be normal but are still at risk. Okay, so maybe explain why. After that, people who seemingly have no signs. Okay, so I think you missed something here with the bad, bad habits and whatnot. Seemingly have no signs of illness but are at a critical state. Okay, next is a smaller group of people who, on examination, are purported to have some symptoms, and okay, so you're putting the comma in the wrong spot. Okay, commas go at the end of the sentence, at the end of symptoms here. They are called to have preclinical disease. Okay, or they're not called to have, they are preclinical. Okay, second to last, this is the visible part of the iceberg. Okay, so this really should be a new paragraph. You should indent like you did here, but you've indented a little bit, but not quite enough. And it should be a new paragraph, okay? Let's see if I can get the second part here. The group which has obvious signs and symptoms and are most likely to go to the hospital or clinics for treatment. Finally, the terminal ill are those who, okay, so you're missing some grammar here. Those who cannot be cured and are adequately treated. Epidemiologists often play an important role in identifying those groups of people. Okay, so I think you're all of a sudden you're mentioning epidemiologists, Fatima, and I'm not sure where this idea came from. Really, you should be explaining the task, which is explaining this to students. Those are the students in your group, right? Who you're writing to. So you should be explaining why they should be paying attention to this. So not developing bad habits just because you don't have, obvious symptoms. You still might be clinically sick. All these sort of ideas of preventative measures that students should be taking. Okay, but still, very good effort. We need to work a little bit on your conclusion, a little bit on your introduction, and other than that, quite good.